What I want to talk about today is the title is Spirit Guides in Numbers, but the point is this. When you begin to work with spirit guides, or even when you just start to open up your third eye and your crown chakra and open up your heart, and you start wanting and desiring to live more as a sixth sensory than a five sensory being, and that would be including the ability to work in the spirit realm, things start happening because you're putting out the call. So one of the very first ways that you will get confirmation that you're being heard by your spirit guides is through the world of numbers, particularly repetitive numbers, where you see particular numbers again and again. So you might see, for example, when you might be thinking about something, hoping to connect about something, and you go in your car and you see the time on the clock is 1:11. And then you go on your way in your day, and later on you go to lunch someplace and you pick up the tab, and the tab is $11.11. And then you go home and you making yourself, some dinner, you have a nice night, you're enjoying yourself, you're getting tired, you're getting ready to go to bed. You glance over at the clock and it says 11:11, okay? So obviously when this starts happening with some frequency, you begin to realize that you're seeing repetitive numbers. And I can remember when I first started working in the spirit realm as well, first being open to it and started studying it, I was seeing repetitive numbers. And at first I wasn't sure I was seeing repetitive numbers. I was thinking it was just coincidence. But it was becoming very, very specific. And so I started recording them. I started recording the numbers. Because numbers, right? Mathematics is the language of the universe. When you know no other language, everybody can communicate in mathematics, conceptual or applied math, right? So a lot can be explained that way. And so it's easy. It's already a language that exists in the universe, and it's easy language. So mathematics is a language. And so it can be something that is easily tapped into and used to be able to communicate with you. The other part of that is that we're surrounded by numbers everywhere. They are everywhere. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when the only way I would know what time it is if I went like this and looked at a watch, or I was driving down the street and the bank had a timer, a clock outside of the bank. But other than that, I wasn't surrounded by them the way that I am surrounded by numbers now. For example, there's a number I can see how many people are watching me. I can see it's 12:35 here in California. I can go past my oven and see a clock. I'm in my car and I'll see a clock. If I look on my phone, there's a clock. We're surrounded by numbers everywhere, dates, numbers, times. So this is a natural way to be able to get your attention when you start seeing repetitive numbers. And what I did was, when I was first trying to figure this out for myself, I noticed I was seeing repetitive numbers. I started to notice what the number was. Sometimes it was, 221, 223, 2, 222, 246, right? But it was always a 2. And then I also started noticing ones, and then it was threes, and it was fours. So then I started purposely saying, okay, I'm going to think about something I would like to speak with my spirit guides about, or would like some guidance about, or illumination about. And I would purposefully think about it, and I would look at a clock somewhere to see what the number was. And sometimes I didn't get anything that really stood out for me. And then I would get a solution in my mind, at least it would feel like it was in my mind. It seemed like it came out of nowhere. And then I would start noticing the number. So early on, the numbers were the form of communication with my spirit guides, even though I didn't know what they were saying. Right? So but I was clear, it was super clear that I was connecting to something, someone, an energy form that could hear me. And by the way, I didn't even have to say it out loud. they could, I could just think it, right? It all begins here. Your thoughts are energy too. What you think about yourself, right, affects how you move in the world, how you behave, the choices that you make, how people see you. It all starts with how you're thinking. So in the very beginning, even thinking about what it was that I wanted to have a conversation about, or what I was concerned about, what I was worried about, what I was working on, I was starting to see the numbers. And then it got amped up. So for me, the numbers first started showing where you see numbers automatically. The digital clock in your car, the digital clock, on your phone. You would see it maybe glancing at the oven or the microwave, wherever it is that keeps time. And by the way, most of those, almost all of them, your oven, your microwave, some watches, they run on quartz. Quartz is a crystal. Clear quartz. I'm wearing clear quartz today. They hold great energy. These are Herkimers. And they operate. So when you hear a quartz crystal watch, that's what they're talking about, right? That there is no battery. You don't plug it in. It runs on energy. So naturally, right, the energy it can be communicated through something that's running through a quartz watch. That's what the watches are on your ovens. Clocks are on your ovens, your microwaves, most of your stereo equipment, your things like that. So unless you have a good old-fashioned wind-up clock that's using a mechanical device, it's probably electric that uses energy, or it's quartz that works with energy. The second thing that you might notice with the repetitive numbers is that you start seeing them in unusual places. And this is really when your spirit guides are trying to connect with you. They might have information. They might see that you need some help. They want you to have an awareness that they're around. And so this usually shows up kind of suddenly, like at a restaurant. You get the bill and you look at the bill and there's a repetitive number that you have been seeing already, and it's showing up on the bill. I have a friend who finds great comfort in a particular number, and she believes that the number is being sent to her by her mother who had passed. I don't remember if it's 223 or 224 or 221, but a car will pull in front of her, and the last 3 digits on the license plate is that number. She'll buy a concert ticket, and the price of the concert ticket after tax, tax and service and all of that, the last 3 digits are that number. She'll go somewhere else and, get an invoice at a restaurant, and her share of the bill was that number, either in the start or the end, but she sees the number again and again. And it's usually when she's missing her and she wants to have some sort of a connection. So, that falls in the realm of mediumship, but right there in spirit form, so they can obviously use the same tools and techniques that other spirit, including your spirit guides, can use. So spirit guides love to work with numbers. It's easy. Everybody recognizes them. And a way to work with this as a language for yourself is to begin to record them. So I remember when I started seeing the repetitive numbers, I wrote them all down. I just kept a list on a piece of, actually I did it in a journal, in a book. So I had a column, and I put the date that I saw the number, approximate time that I saw the number, which was easy if I was seeing it on a clock, and the actual number. Like, so if I got it at a restaurant or something, I would take a look at the time that the restaurant receipt was printed, the date plus the numbers, and then I would start to pay attention to what I was thinking about right before I saw the number. Not when I saw the number, but right before I saw the number. And that was very helpful. In fact, that was really the key. So when I started recording that information, I'm seeing a repetitive number, what was I thinking about right before I saw it, ended up becoming the guidance or the information, or at least what it was about. It gave me a good clue. And I could say, well, I was just thinking about starting a new business. And I was thinking about, should I go in this direction or should I go in this direction? And I'm walking around thinking about it. Maybe I'm hiking or I'm at the beach or whatever. And then I would see this number. And so then I would start to say, okay, right before I saw that number, I was thinking about, should I go this way or this way? So let me ask this question: what is in the highest and best good for me, Spirit Guide, with regard to this project? Is it this? And then I would wait and see if I would see when I would see the number again. And if I didn't see the number, then I would ask the other option. And it became a way that I was able to get really good information. Like, for example, the number over time, like, you keep a record because it's different for everybody. Although there is a general flavoring about the numbers, I have to say. So, like, for me, I noticed that whenever I saw ones, repetitive ones, 111, 1111, 1011, 1110, a lot of ones, for me it meant you're on the right path, keep going. Everything that you're thinking about is correct, right? So you are on your path and in your flow. And then if I would see another number, maybe it would be like a series of threes, something like that, a lot of threes, it would mean that there's probably what I know, what I want, and then I'm missing a piece of information that hasn't been revealed to me yet in order to make the best decision. So then over time, I would know that when I was seeing the threes, it meant wait, don't make the decision yet. It doesn't mean no. It means that there's more information coming that will help you make a better decision or a better choice. Or if I would see the numbers eights, eights, it was usually the wide open possibility, right? Eight's the infinity number anyway. So for you, if you are seeing repetitive numbers, in order to figure out the meaning or the language, their signs and symbols are acting as signs and symbols from your spirit guides, right? And it's easy because mathematics is the language of the universe. So start keeping track of them. Start keeping track of them and write them down somewhere. And then write down the date and the time that you saw it and what you were thinking about right before you saw it. And oftentimes that's the hardest part because what stuck in our mind was the repetitive number. I'm seeing twos everywhere. I'm seeing threes everywhere. I'm seeing this repetitive number. But we can't recall what we were thinking about right before we saw it because the realization that we're seeing the repetitive number sometimes is so jarring. It's so shocking. There it is again, that everything else we were thinking about goes out the window. And the really important thing about it is to make the connection between what it is that you were thinking about. Now, here's the reason why. Let me tell you why. My teacher and mentor, Sonia Choquette, taught me this early on. In this world where we're working with energy, right, it's much faster than the thinking mind. Whether you're working with your intuition, whether you're working with your spirit guides, or whether you're working even with healing energy, like in Reiki. I'm also a Reiki master, so a lot of times I'm working with Reiki. It comes quicker, more quickly than you are able to receive it, send it up to the brain, make sense of it, and then make a decision or choice about it. So this is why I say that it's important to write down what you were thinking about right before you saw the number, not when you saw the number or while you saw the number. Okay, that's why it's important. And that's why it's not what you were thinking about when you saw the number. It's what you were thinking about or what you were feeling in your heart, what you've been contemplating, thinking about right before you saw the number. And over time, it'll become automatic. You'll see it. You'll be like, oh, there's a repetitive number. What was I just thinking about? And you sort of scan back. And it might be two or three things because, we're humans, right? What do? We walk down the street. We got a million things going through our mind all the time. So you have to kind of be a little bit more, slow it down and be a little bit more mindful and present in your life. You can do that with meditation. And then you'll be able to recall. Now, the other thing that you can do with this technique, other than just walking around and noticing repetitive numbers, is that you can have spirit-guided sessions. Have sessions with your spirit guides. Literally carve it. I schedule mine, right? They're on a schedule. My spirit guides get time. So I have an appointment. And for me, it's on a schedule. For them, they just feel the call. There is no time and space in the spirit world, so they don't work on a calendar or a time frame. You can schedule time, and then you sort of have your questions out there in advance. And it's important how you formulate your questions. You get, good questions get really good information, get good responses. So you can formulate your questions, and then you can go in and call your spirit guides in, and have that work. And then you can say to them, please send to me confirmation that this is the guidance, and it would be great if you could send it to me in the form of a repetitive number. And then work with that very closely and see what numbers are coming up. That's usually the entry point. When people start recognizing that they're seeing repetitive numbers, and they understand that there is a form of communication going on. Someone's trying to reach out to you, someone's trying to contact you, someone's giving you information or guidance, or trying to let you know everything's okay, right? There's a connection there to the spirit world. That's when they want to know more. Well, what do the numbers mean? Well, what else can I do? How else can I get good, clear information? And then the topic explodes wide open, because it's a big topic. It's not the only way.